Hi, everybody. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
And on this Camper Report show, I am talking with Mike and Susan of RV Blogger. They have one of the largest audiences on YouTube, and they've got a brand new RV to tell us about.
Wow, fantastic. I've got great interview with Marc and Julie Bennett from RV Love, and they just published a blog that really caught my attention last week on the true cost of RVing over 8 years of RVing full-time and part-time. Very, very interesting stuff.
So, the cool part about that report is that these are actual numbers, not projected numbers or
Right.
thought about numbers. And they have no reason to tell us it was either high or low. They're going to give us the
Oh,
truth.
very, very candid, completely transparent. I think the viewers are really going to like it.
Right. And we've got two great features coming up. And we get all of our information where, Bob?
RV Business and Woodall's Campground Magazine.
Stay with us, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Camp Report Show. My name is John DePietro. His name is Bob Zagami. And Bob, we're going to mix it up a little bit today. Instead of talking about how many RVs were made and rolled off the assembly line, we're going to get into some fun stuff because we're going to talk about RV destinations. Where can you go now that you've purchased your RV and have some really cool fun? And actually hot fun in the summertime in Arizona. The wintertime is even the summertime in Arizona because the gigantic Quartzsite RV show and rally is being held in January. And I think it's January 21 through 29. Talk a little bit about that event because you hear so much about it.
Well, this is a great event in the sense that this is not a corporate empire or a corporate event with a lot of marketing dollars put behind it. This is word of mouth. RVers have been going to Quartzsite probably for 50 years, and this thing has just grown quietly, organically. The people that know about it know all about it. The people that don't know about it don't have a clue what we're talking about.
And interestingly, the people that run it, we don't even know who they are.
Nope.
But they've got a 70,000, I want to make sure I get that right, 70,000 square foot tent, which you figure your average Walmart is 140,000. So imagine how big that tent is. Over 400 exhibitors, but this year they're adding seminars and workshops. So they're getting kind of corporate. But, Quartzsite, Arizona, I have no idea where it even is.
Yeah, and that's not the only tent out there. Other people set up tents. They set them up along the road. They set them up on parcels of land that they rent. They set up barbecues. They set up restaurants. They've got everything that somebody with an RV would ever want in one of those tents or selling it off the back of a truck. And there are dozens, probably more, 20,
Hundreds.
yeah, hundreds of different places where you can park during Quartzsite and take your tow vehicle and travel around to the different tents. It's huge. If you look at an aerial view of it, absolutely huge. And they just draw people from all over the country. People plan years in advance to experience Quartzsite at least one time.
Right. And I've heard not only all over the country, but all over the world, because they say 150,000 visitors. Now, the Tampa RV show, which is one of the biggest ones, what do they draw? About 70,000?
75,000, yeah.
Okay, so double that. Okay, but here's the part in the interview where we say you can buy tickets at so and so. Bob, free admission, free parking, free camping. It's all on BLM land.
Yep.
Bureau of Land Management. I'm told it's in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to find hookups. You're not going to find
right.
a luxury swimming pool or anything like that.
And sometimes they have dealers that set up displays there. People sell, they drive out there and they put a for sale sign on their rig, and they leave with something else. It's an amazing adventure, but you got to take a lot of time to travel out there. You're going to be out there for probably a week or 10 days if you wanted to really see everything, and then a week back. So it's the reason why people plan for this thing several years in advance.
Sure, absolutely. And our parent company, RV Life, is involved with it this year, sponsoring several events there. So with that being said, Quartzsite, we will put the website info down there so you can see it if you want to go, because it's not one you have to make reservations for. If you're west of the Mississippi,
head
you
on
have
down.
snow tires.
Yeah, set the GPS and head on down to Arizona.
Right. And before we move on to our next topic, I'm told that there is a section of Quartzize that is dedicated to a group of people that are the mainstays of our next topic. And our next topic comes to us, our friend Tony Barthel, who we met, we met him this past year when we were out at the Alliance rally.
Right.
And he writes a column for our friends at RV Travel. He did a story on nude RVing. Now, when you say those two terms, it might send shivers through your body, because I will admit, and Bob, I'm sure you want to agree also, that most of the people that I've seen in RV parks, I'm very happy to see them fully clothed.
Yes.
There is a subset of people that,
right.
When Tony brought up the question, not only was he surprised by the answers, but surprised by the details of the answers. So I see everybody behind you at your site seems to be fully clothed.
Yes, they are fully clothed, and the campgrounds that I frequent are with fully clothed people. And you're 100% right. There are many people in the campground industry that probably should not go camping nude. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'd say more than many, but probably many. Let me give you some of these stats that Tony, and again, we've got the link for the full story down below.
Well, next time I see Tony, we have to ask him how he collected the facts. So did he say? Because he.
I hope he had. At least I hope Tony had a hat on, because he's got the same hairstyle as you, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
We'll put his picture up there so people can see what we mean. But he did a survey with these people. And not these people, with campers, and there were over 2,500 people responding. So that makes it a valid sample.
Yeah.
Okay. But the question was, have you ever stayed at a nudist campground? And the answers were yes, 11%, no, 24%. But here's an interesting one. No, but I would consider it, 46%. And no, I'm sorry, 20%. And no, never, no chance in the world, 46%. Now
that makes more sense.
Okay. But add up some of these figures with yes, and I would consider is 31%. So that's 33% of that population.
There's the country, 1 out of every 3 campers. There you go.
So next time you're walking through your campground, folks, take a look at 3 campers in a row and imagine one of those campers, the occupants of those campers, naked.
Any 3, any row. Well, we got several up in New Hampshire and Maine that I've seen traveling up there. Right. And I said, did Tony give us any idea of how many campgrounds actually classify themselves as clothing optional?
No, you know what? That's in the article, but I don't want to expose. I don't want to expose all of the details here. We'll have them look for that article, but there are associations, there are groups.
Well, I'm sure a simple search of Google with clothing optional campgrounds would provide you all the answers and locations for your next camping adventure.
And you know what, Bob? That puts a new spin on the word adventure.
That sure does. Okay. Sure does.
So as we bundle up, because I'm in the Northeast, you're in Florida, you have short sleeves. I have two long sleeve shirts.
Oh man.
Okay. Actually, this shirt here you have the same one. It's from our friends at Crop.
Right.
And it's my favorite shirt now. My wife says I wear it every other day, which is true because it's cool.
But it can't be that cold up there yet.
It was.
I was just in New York City last weekend. It was 50 to 60 degrees the whole weekend.
Right. Like Sunday morning, it was cold. Today is Tuesday as we tape this. It's just rainy and icky, but not cold yet. But 2 years ago, yesterday, we got snow on Halloween. So that's a scoop. As we get ready to either winterize our campers or summerize our campers as we head out to cool new destinations such as Quartzsite or that other type of resort that we mentioned. We want to
head down to Florida for the winter. A few snowbirds come down, check it out.
Yeah, the Canadians are back in full force. But we want to let you know that you are watching the Camper Report Show, and much of the content that we source from the Camper Report Show. Bob, tell us where it's from.
From our friends at RV Business and Woodall's Campground Magazine.
And we're going to be talking with those people. We're going to have them on the show sometime in the near future with, the big three over at RV Business. And we've had Ben on from Woodall's on several occasions. But there's so much going on in the industry. We're talking about all the new models coming out and all the anticipation of the new shows. Just as we shut down for this year, we start looking at next year, because regardless of where you're located, camping is a 12-month mindset at least.
Yep. And you and I next week?
Yeah,
we'll
next week.
We'll be in Las Vegas next week for the the RVDA International Convention and Expo. And that's where all the dealers congregate for educational sessions and networking and lots of industry news that we'll pick up for our fans next week. That's for sure.
So stay with us here, because we will have some of those interviews in the upcoming weeks right here. Where, Bob?
On the Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everybody.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Camper Report Show. And my guests today are Julie and Marc Bennett from RVlove.com, frequent guest on some of our other programs. And they recently wrote an incredible blog on the cost of living, both from a full-time and a part-time standpoint. And it's getting rave reviews out there. So I wanted to have them on today because many of you buy RVs. Sometimes you don't take a look at the total cost of it. This is something that you want to look at before you buy an RV and what you're getting into. Julie, Marc, welcome to the Camper Report Show. Tell us a little bit about how this generated and why you want to do this.
Well, thanks again, Bob. It was always great to see you. I'm so excited to be here. But the reason we wrote that blog post is just because I think a lot of people get overly excited about jumping into RVing without doing the proper research. And we just want to help avoid people getting big surprises that will end up souring them on the RVs, because it's a great lifestyle. It's a great way to get out and enjoy time with your family. But you just got to temper your enthusiasm for the big, fancy, top of the line unit versus getting the unit that's well within your budget so you can continue to enjoy it for long term. And there's a lot of things to consider. It's first, it's the cost of the purchase. And a lot of dealers will say, oh, well, it's cost this much a month. Well, it's also this much a month, or plus. There's the depreciation cost, the fuel cost. There's the financing cost if you're financing it on a long-term loan, like some of those payments. And, camping fees, of course.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, we should tell people. I imagine there's probably some people that are on here that are saying, who the hell is Marc and Julie Bennett? I never heard of them before. We should probably tell them that you are more than capable and experienced on reporting on this topic. So you want to give a brief history of why you have all this knowledge, Julie?
Yeah, well, we hit the road in 2014. We decided to sell our home in Colorado, hit the road in an RV. We bought a Class A and traveled we traveled full time in a Class A motorhome for over 6 years, towing a vehicle, living, working, traveling from the road, visiting all 50 states. And along the way, we wrote a couple of books about RVing and helping people how to RV, living the RV life and RV hacks, and created an online school. And we've been blogging, sharing YouTube videos and social media all that time. So there's a lot of content we've created over the years. And, we started about 2 years ago, we switched to part-time RVing. We now have a home base, which is where we are now. And so I think we've really had a lot of experience with different kinds of RVs, different kinds of RVing, because full-timing and part-time are different, towables, motorhomes, diesel, gas. We've even rented some RVs in there too, renting and buying. So I think we've had, we feel we've had a pretty good breadth of experience across the whole gamut of RVing options, and love. I think our passion is always just educating people about it and helping them understand. We did an immense amount of research before we hit the road. We had a great experience with our first RV. So I think, we went in with eyes wide open, and that's what we really hope, like to what Marc was saying, what everyone else does as well. So that's who we are.
Your first book, Living the RV Life, was a great, I thought it was the best resource book that we've had in the industry in 20 years. And I think the sales pull that out. It's a tremendous bestseller. And you talk about full timing, but you also talk about week-long vacations, or if you only go out a couple of times a year, to give people the flavor of the lifestyle. And you mentioned some of the cost in there. Is understanding the cost of living in the RV, do you think that's one of the biggest mistakes that RVers make when they get into this lifestyle?
I do. And I think so many things changed, like as Marc was, touching on before, all of the different expenses related to RVing. And then on top of that, that's not all of it. You've got things like storage if you're not living in it full time. You've got the cost of campgrounds. I mean, even just eating out and entertainment. I mean, that's not directly a cost of RVing, but it's indirectly a cost, because you're going to places and seeing things you wouldn't normally otherwise that might put those prices up. But, I think a big one that we think a lot of people overlook, and it can be tricky, is depreciation. And it's just a fact of life that everything with wheels depreciates. Boats typically do too. Boats and wheels, unless they're on trailers. But that's just something that it can be tricky to estimate what depreciation is going to be on an RV, because there's not a hard and fast rule or criteria on it. But the more I think people have an awareness that at least that is a thing. It's a very real thing. And that's why in our latest blog post, The Cost of RVing, we share real life examples from every RV that we've had and what they cost in all the different areas. And it was an eye-opener for us, even putting that together, to be honest.
Well, and I've followed you since you came on the scene, and I know that Marc and you have done a tremendous amount of work yourselves. And there's those of people like myself who can't bang a nail into a board. So you factored that in too, and you made sure that people understood that if you're not handy with some of these things, that's going to be an additional added cost. You saved money because Marc and yourself, including a complete restoration of
a country coach.
Yeah. That down along the way.
There's a lot of hours in that one.
There is a lot of hours, and that's a great point. I'm glad you make that, Bob, because we did most all of the minor repairs and all these upgrades on our coaches. And when shop rates are over $100 an hour,
150 plus these days,
I have literally hundreds of hours of work in those coaches in those RVs. So that would have added up really to a big number, and that's something to be factored in. So we definitely like to call out all those little details, and then I try and separate out repairs that are needed versus upgrades that are nice
optional,
to have. So just got to call out all that and just help people be informed and make the right choices for them, because it can be affordable. Like we talked in that blog post, we had a little casita camper. It was a little camper. It was really low cost every month, but at the end of the day, it was a little too small for us, so we hardly ever went out with it, which also helped keep the cost down.
But that's one of the trade-offs, as you point out in your books, that there's an RV for everybody, and it's for everybody's budget. So quickly go over the 4 RVs that you had that you put into this compilation of cost, and give us the pluses and minuses of the 4 types of RVs that you had out there.
Okay. Well, as Julie first mentioned, when we hit the road to go full-time, we chose to full-time in a Class A motorhome, both in a gas and then later in a diesel, because we just liked that style of travel, even though we know that Class A coaches are generally a higher average monthly cost than having a truck and trailer. But when we didn't have a truck and we loved towing a fun car, we went to that route. And we started
that was a great choice for us. We really loved full-timing in Class A's. That really worked for us. Yeah,
it's a great style of travel, and we really enjoyed it. And then we were working from the road too, so we needed a larger coach to have a space to work from. That might not be a consideration for some people. So those were the first two we had for.
And then we changed from a gas to a diesel,
Yeah.
right? And I know a lot of people think, well, what's better, gas or diesel? It really isn't better. It really depends on what's your criteria, what's important to you. If you're not traveling in mountains and grades and having a diesel powered vehicle isn't as important to you, they're a lot more expensive to buy and to maintain.
That's
and
right.
You can see that in our report, in our cost of RVing report. You will see the actual math on everything. You can see what these things cost.
I get that question every year in my seminars, and I tell the people I'm not going to answer the question because it has to do with how many miles do you think you're going to put on the coach and the driving conditions, and that's another area that people shortchange themselves on, not doing their homework prior to getting involved with an RV.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they might want the macho diesel pusher and have all that power with them, but they might only drive 6,000 miles a year, and it's on interstate highways that are flat. Well,
and a lot of snowbirds, they'll be up north, up your neck of the woods, and then they come down and they sit in a seasonal site in Florida for 3 months and they don't move it. So why do you need a diesel to drive that distance? Even us, we've had the gas, it was a great coach. We had the diesel. It was a great coach. It was an older coach, needed a lot more work on it, but it was a beautiful home, especially after we renovated it. Would we own a gas coach again? Absolutely. There is definitely a difference in driving a diesel to a gas. There's no question. It's definitely got advantages.
Yeah, and the larger weight capacities allow it to be more residential feeling by putting real tile and countertops and some other higher end finishes like that too. But there's definitely pros and cons to both. And then we went to the part-time rigs when we got our home base, and we started off with a little tiny camper that we could tow behind the Jeep that we used to tow behind the motorhome.
Because we didn't want to change our Jeep. We loved the Jeep, right?
So you went from a 40 plus diesel pusher to, what was the Casita?
17-foot Casita. And it's only 14 foot inside. The 17 foot included the tongue. So, and we really, the criteria for that was, because we just bought this home, was one, affordability, because now as full-timers we didn't have a mortgage and all those related costs. Now we do. So budget was definitely a number one factor. Number two is we didn't want to sell the Jeep. How can we tow it? And so we limited on that towing capacity of the Jeep. And three, we have a little carport and we didn't want to pay for storage, and it's hard to find storage these days. So can it fit in the carport? So we were measuring that carport before we bought the house, thinking, is this going to fit?
RV will fit in.
Yeah. So that's all.
Tell us what you have now, because you're still part-time, but you kind of did a little compromising on both ends.
Yeah, a little compromise in that, we just loved the motorhome style of travel. And so we went back to a motorhome, but we have a small Class C motorhome on the Mercedes chassis. So it's a diesel.
25 feet.
And it's 25 feet long. And so it's very nimble. We can travel just with the RV. We don't need to tow the vehicle behind. In fact, we don't tow the vehicle behind. We just take e-bikes and have a more nimble style travel, because it's easy to break camp and take it to run grocery shopping or whatnot. But that's been a really nice rig. It's a very nice RV, but it's far, and we use it more than the Casita, but it is far more expensive on a monthly basis than that Casita. And so that's the trade-off we're talking about, right, Bob? Is that And in fairness, it's been really high monthly average for this first 10 months we've had it, but that should go down because we had some front loaded expenses.
Which we knew when we bought it, because we bought it at a discounted price from a friend, and to buy comparable RV would have paid at least 10, 15, 20,000 more. But he knew that it needed work done to it and money spent on it, and so did we. And so we was just, we got it at a low price.
You bought it, and with that, upfront information, you made the appropriate changes. Our guests this morning are Julie and Marc Bennett from RVlove.com, and we're talking about their newest blog that's getting quite a lot of attention on the internet. It's called Cost of RVing Part-Time and Full-Time. If people ask you what the top three things they take away from this particular blog, would you both have the same three, or would there be
that's a good question.
Things?
Oh, let's hear what Julie's three are.
I think the top one, would be the top three. I think that people would realize that to really look at the cost of financing, right? so often you're just looking at what the payment is, because that's what the dealer will sell you, right? That's their job to do that, but it's your job to do the homework. What's it going to cost you in the long term? Number 2 is depreciation, which the last 2 years I'll say has been a very unusual period, because with the demand for RVs and the shortage of them, some people have sold at very little loss or even a profit. But we're getting into times now where it's going to go back to seeing depreciation, and that gets expensive. And I think the third one would be the repairs and maintenance. That would be my top 3.
Yeah, I agree with Julie, actually, because I think those are the 3 that are the less obvious ones. And so we just want to call those out. I mean, there's obviously there's extra gear you need to buy. There's the fuel cost, the campground cost, and how to manage those, because campground costs can vary dramatically. We know people that spend less than $200 a month, and we know people that spend over $2,000. So
I know some people that spend $200 a night. They are, and because we are also seeing a lot more luxury RV resorts by the investment community, real estate investment trusts. They see the potential of luxury RV resorts, and many of those you can't get anything under 200, but it's just like a luxury hotel. They've got spas, they got golf courses, they got dog runs, but depending on your lifestyle, depending on what you want to get out of RVing, I think it's a great compliment to both your books. Living the RV Life expands the whole lifestyle picture for people, and then your most recent one, RV Hacks, it's over 400 hacks that if you're going to get into the lifestyle, you're going to want those. So we'll put information on the website. We'll put a link to the blog. We'll put book information down there too, so that people can, if they're doing it, read the blog and go buy the books. How's that? Especially,
I think if anybody honestly,
and make sure you
did
keep listening
that,
to Bob's shows.
Yes, I would do honestly say that if anyone did read that blog post and those 2 books, you would save yourself a lot of time and, wheel spinning and confusion. So when you do go out there, you've got a good baseline of information to compare everything to, and figure out which is the right RV for you, because as we've said, just about anybody can RV. There is a way to do it no matter what your budget is. And this is just empowering people with the tools to make good choices for them, so they can go out and focus on relaxing out in the RV life. So I'm stressing about how much it's costing them, because we all pay for fuel, we all pay for campgrounds, we all got to fix and repair the things. That's just a fact of RV life, but there is a way to make it affordable.
But there are economical ways to do it, and regardless of what your budget is, you can find it. And now with the holidays coming up, you got 2 great books for holiday gift giving.
Great gift ideas, aren't they, Bob?
All right. RVlove.com, Julie and Mark Bennett, thank you very much for joining us today on the Camper Report Show.
Always good seeing you, Bob.
Pleasure. Thanks so much,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
Hey everybody, it's John DePietro. Welcome back to the Camper Report Show, and we have repeat guests from a year ago. Mike and Susan from
RV Blogger. Hey everybody, how you doing?
RV Blogger. You guys are ripping it up. You are the talk of the YouTube community, and you're probably the 2 of the hardest working people I know that are journalizing there's a new word for you. Yeah. Journalizing the RV industry. Tell us what you've been up to in the last year. I know you got a brand new unit, and you've just been hitting the road and cranking it.
We have been having a great time. We got a brand new Class A RV because we're hitting the road a lot more often, and we need a good place to live and work as we're on the road.
And be comfortable.
Yep.
Be comfortable.
And we can tow our Jeep Wrangler behind us when we go.
Right.
But we've also gotten married in the past year. So in June,
to each other,
we got married to each other.
Okay.
Yep.
That helps.
Yeah, I know.
And it's funny because Susan's ex got married this past year too, and her daughter said it's so weird that both my parents got married this year, but not to each other. So it's been really a wacky kind of year for us.
And now coming back to the RV industry, but the thing is, and I'm sure you'd agree with me, that you meet the most interesting people with the most interesting backgrounds in the RV industry.
Every day.
You know, you're just a couple of those people that
Yes.
fall into that category, that you love RVing and you like to share what you know with others.
We do.
And tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and what are you up to for subscribers now?
Well, I think we're
just this close to 140,000.
Yeah, we're just pushing 140K on the YouTube channel. We've really, we put out a video every single week. We do tons and tons of tours, and that's why we're here in Hershey now for the Hershey RV show.
Right.
We're just going crazy, working from sun up till sundown every night, shooting video like crazy. But we love it. We get to tour all these really cool RVs and share
See
what
what's
we
new
know
and what's different.
Yeah, give some tips.
We've had so many people come to us and thank us for providing the content so they get to see new RVs and get an idea of what they're looking for. And it's so rewarding to know that how much that we've been able to help other people in their shopping and you know what they're looking for, and that's pretty awesome.
And I'm sure you'd agree that buying your first RV is not an easy task.
Not at all.
No,
you have no idea what you're looking for.
And would you also agree with me that coming to a show like Hershey, America's largest RV show, if you're coming to that show for the first time, you have the distinct opportunity or possibility to be more confused when you left
Oh, absolutely.
than when you got there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because you have no idea how many models are out there and how many different varieties are out there.
Yeah.
And, what your options are.
I still remember the first RV show we
Yes.
went to. Every RV we walked in, we were
You
like,
fell in love.
we love
This is the one. This is
This
it.
is great. 500 RVs later, we went home like, oh man, which
What do we
one
do
so
was
now?
it?
confused.
What?
Yeah.
And Susan, this is a very special time because you are usually in my spot
Yes.
doing the camera operating.
Right.
And you know what?
I'm usually behind the camera, not in front of.
Yeah, but you're doing a great job now.
Thank you.
And you look very comfort, that's not the word, natural.
Oh,
Natural,
thank you.
not
Thank you.
And who needs Mike? So now we're going to talk about Susan, RV life with Susan, and but what have you noticed? Let's get serious for again. Okay, we're not talking about who got married to who and anything for right now. But what have you noticed in the past 6 months about innovations with gadgets, electronics, batteries, non-batteries,
Wow.
solar,
it's mind-blowing.
all that
Yeah.
stuff? Isn't it amazing?
It is impressive.
It's almost a full-time job just trying to keep up with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We bought our new Class A RV. We're trying to get it rigged up with lithium batteries, solar panels, a new inverter. We need a new charger.
Right.
It's just been a whole entire learning experience.
We want a boondock at the maximum.
At the maximum.
The maximum.
And then just learning all the components in our
Right.
rig has been a lot to learn and absorb too. So
Right.
it's amazing how much technology plays a role, especially in some of the new RVs that are out there on the market.
It's
It just-
incredible.
It blows us away.
Our previous RV was a 2008. There was zero technology.
Yeah,
Right.
very
Yeah.
basic.
Zero.
Didn't even have slides.
No slides.
You know.
No automatic levelers. Solar.
Yep.
And
So you go up, 15 years or 14, 13 years in models, and
It's like dog years.
yeah, you get inside, and all of a sudden you got flat screen TVs.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got TVs that
Right.
don't, you can hook your cell phone up. You can
I was going to say we can use our cell phone to turn our lights on,
Right.
to open our awning, or like
not even if you're not even at the unit.
Right.
Right.
That's
Right.
right.
Yes.
Yep. So
And some of the air conditioning systems are capable to be, operated from a remote location as well. So.
Yeah.
Right.
and there's auto start generators. I mean, there's everything you
Right.
can imagine out there now.
Yeah.
It's
What would you
really
say to the
incredible.
person or the couple or the family or the young couple that now in the past 2 years, or what, we're coming up on 2.5 years since COVID, it's no longer required to be at a desk every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. So many people now have the opportunity to hit the road. Talk to those people, you guys, and tell them what they might be missing if they don't take advantage of the opportunity when they're young and healthy,
Yeah.
right?
That's the
Absolutely.
key. Yeah,
Young
that's
and
the key.
healthy.
I think that the sooner you can do it, the better off you are. I mean, I regret not doing this sooner, and I think we both
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah, absolutely. Neither one of us had jobs that we could work remotely
Yeah.
before we did this.
And-
So yeah, if that's the one bit of advice is to don't limit you know, what it is that you can learn and do and travel and make it all happen.
Yeah, and there's no perfect way to do it either.
No.
You know, everybody RVs differently. Everyone has different tastes, different interests, different ways they like to camp. And we say just do whatever you're
Do what
happy
feels most
with.
comfortable to you.
Don't compare yourself to anyone else.
You can glamp.
Yep.
You can boondock.
Yep.
Whatever it is.
Just
Just have
explore.
fun doing
Yes.
it. And
Family time.
when we created our website, our tagline to it was shift, control, and escape.
Right.
And it's really a motto that we've tried to live up to, and we're still trying to live up to it every day.
Right.
But now with remote work possible for so many people, you can shift control in your life and you can escape and work wherever the heck you want and see everything that's out there.
Right.
I mean, it's
We
amazing.
have a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also you had a very special circumstance this summer because you were able to buy a new RV without selling your old one. And tell us how you utilized it. That's a very interesting dynamic.
So we took the summer and we did, you know, a lot of shakedown trips, we'll call them, where we went weekend camping all summer long. But we did that in our new Class A. We kept our Class C, and we have 4 adult children between us. And so the kids would use the C, we would take the A, we would book campsites right next to each other, and so
They got an opportunity to learn how to operate the C.
Yep.
You know, so for some of them, they've always camped with us, but they never had to empty the gray tanks.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So now
Now
it
you're
was
getting
like, oh
even.
no, you're going to empty the grain tank and you're going to drive the RV and you're going to learn how to operate it.
Yeah.
You know, so it made them, you know, more independent,
Yep.
you know, and gave us an opportunity to travel with them. And, you know, and we still had our own space.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
your own
it was
privacy.
awesome.
Now tell us about your YouTube channel so people can, your website and YouTube channel, because you're more than just YouTube videos. You've got a digital magazine.
Right.
We do. We have quite a bit going on. And I don't think you even know this yet, John, but our website is at rvblogger.com, where we have over 600 articles that we've published that are all, you know, geared towards helping RVers learn everything you need to know about an RV and RV camping. But that website got so large, it's become hard to manage. So we just launched 2 new websites, traveltrailerpro.com and motorhomefacts.com. So we can provide even more information specific to whether you're a travel trailer or a motorhome kind of person.
Which are vastly different.
Right,
Oh, yes,
right.
yes,
Vastly
leaps
different.
and bounds.
So my main question, my last question is, when do you sleep?
We just said last night, we work hard and we play hard.
Yeah, we do. And we work a lot. This doesn't
Yeah.
come easy, that's for sure. But
We do
you know,
love what we do.
we do. And that makes it fun and enjoyable for us. And it's our full-time job, so hey, we have a blast.
And for the record, for fairness documentation, we are all part of the RV Life family. We're at an RV Life get-together
Absolutely.
now in Hershey.
Love RV
And
Life.
you know what? Let's go back to the party.
All right,
Yes.
sounds good.
All right.
Okay, Mike and Susan from RVblogger.com. Check them out on the website as well as on YouTube.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great day, everybody.